An apology from Farhad Moshiri to the Everton fans. We'll look at this shortly.
Yeah.
But my question is this morning, did he need to apologise? Is it not too late for any apology? Is an apology valid for the dreadful end to their season? Mind you, having said that, they managed to stay up.
To some extent, why has he got to apologise? Maybe some of the players and managers that he's put in place that haven't done their jobs have got to apologise for their sort of robber baron mentality of coming in, sweeping a big bag of his cash and slinging their hooks, proverbially.
Yeah.
He needs to explain the vision. He needs, because it's a public domain business, he needs to qualify his thinking in the mind of the fans, whether you think you should or you shouldn't. These fans have an emotive attachment to this football club which supersedes his financial ownership. So I think it's sensible. I don't think he should be apologising. I'm sorry for losing 500 million quid of my money. What he should be doing is saying, these are the areas we've got wrong. These are the situations we aren't going to keep on making the same mistakes. And here's what the future looks like.
Right.
That's what I think he should be. And then you bring them with you. He hasn't brought them with him because he's made ridiculous decisions.
Did you ever apologise to the Palace fans for anything like, sorry for a decision that was made a couple of weeks ago, I now formally apologise? I mean, does it go down well with them?
I apologise on behalf of the players for performances. I apologise for one away game where I felt that the fans slept across the country, put their hard-earned cash into travel. The players hadn't lifted a leg, so I refunded the travelling fans their travel and their ticket money because I felt that they shouldn't have to pay to watch the crap that my players have served up on that particular occasion.
And how did that go down? Well,
it went down with the fans. It didn't go so well with the players because I went back to take it out of their wages.
Does it show us how defining hindsight can be?
Well, they say that good people don't need hindsight, don't they? And you know, the idea that you make mistakes, you learn from those mistakes, you keep on making mistakes, and eventually someone's got to point their finger at you and say, fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, shame on you.
Yeah.
You get into that territory now. And you don't also, I'm not suggesting that you move into the world of the royals or the British government, which is don't explain, don't apologise. But I'm not entirely sure he needs to be apologising. It seems a bit like a snivelling exercise in trying to curry favour with the fans. An explanation of the thinking, a substantiation of the vision, a directive to give the fans an understanding of how they're going to overcome the financial fair play challenges they've got for this season and the vision that they've got. Yes, I see the blueprint. He's going to carry on spending on Stanley Park. He's going to commit his future to the football club. And some would say that's great. Other people would say, well, actually, I don't care how much money you spend. You haven't actually done a good job over the best part of 2/3 of a decade. And you look at the thinking behind it. It does not take theistic karma to work out that Benitez was not the fit.
No.
Everybody with a brain sat here and said, this is trouble awaiting you. Benitez gives his soul. Well, did he give his soul to China, did he? When he slung his hook from Newcastle for a big bag of money and couldn't wait to get back when the money started coming out of China. Benitez is no doubt a class act of a manager. I don't think he's a class act of a person. I think he's probably very difficult to work with. And if you look back at the history of his experiences, he's proven to be so. And it was always an awful fit. Most people sat there thinking, Ancelotti. We needed Ancelotti, was his terminology. But Ancelotti didn't need you, and he was never going to need you. And there was always going to be a situation where this particular project, the wheels came off it because Everton weren't the fit for Ancelotti. I spoke to some quite significant voices in European football that questioned the appointment. Yeah. Also questioned the thinking behind bringing his son in as the coach and that sort of stuff. And they felt it dialed in a certain mentality where Ancelotti was. Ancelotti was doing Everton a favour. You can't have a manager coming in that's doing you a favour. It has to be an equal footing. And those appointments, the pursuit of Marco Silva, the wheels came off up with Silva. That's where it started.
Yeah.
Martinez was okay for a period of time, but the Everton fans got fed up with the tic-tac football that he was playing. Ronald Koeman was okay, but stuff behind the scenes changed the direction there. So you can give him latitude. But when you start alighting upon managers like Benitez after 5 years in control of a football club, if you don't know how this is going to be perceived and what's coming down the line, you gave yourself no margin of error. The moment this slightly went off kilter, then they were going to be after Benitez.
So where does Frank Lampard fit into all of this then?
Well, he took a risk.
This sequence.
He took a risk with Frank, didn't he? He took a risk based upon the fact that we all think that Frank, well, specifically me, feels that Frank Lampard will become a decent manager. And I've made this argument, a comparison, that one day he'll be an elite manager and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will never be so. And that's been thrown back in my face on many occasions because Frank hasn't set the world alight.
Right.
And he's gone into Everton and there's a mess in there. It's a mess behind the scenes. It's a mess on recruitment. It's a mess on the pitch. it's probably a mess from the pitch to the boardroom. And obviously I like Bill and I like that football club, but you've got to call it for what it is.
But is it going to change now? I mean, he's saying mistakes have been made, and for that I want to apologise to all of you. Right, so he's done that. We need to do better, he says. Now he's saying it's going to be a new era with Lampard as manager and director of football Kevin Thelwell, and that we're going to shape a new era.
Well, I suppose if you're going to go strong or go home, right? So if you're going to start backing yourself, he's backed himself on the number of appointments. No one can argue with this man's commitment. Whatever his motivations behind it, whatever he wants to unload half a billion quid on a football club to achieve the square root of nothing, that's his gift and his curse, because he's the one that's had to write the checks out. It's Everton fans' right to have an emotional investment in a football club. These fans, with their support, dragged that bunch of ingrates across the line. Because that group of players were good enough not to have been, they're not a good side, but they shouldn't have been occupying the space that they were in. They were better than where they were. And the reasons why they were at the bottom is because of poor management and poor playing. But in a sentence, Simon, poor ownership.
Do the Evertonians deserve an apology of any sort from Moshiri?
No, they deserve a vision. They deserve an apology. We start to get into this territory of what fans are entitled to. They're entitled to responsible, honest ownership. Does anybody say that Moshiri isn't trying to be honest? Has he got an alternative agenda? Is he trying to hold back the spend? No. Has he run it well? Should you explain and perhaps justify the reasons why you've made decisions? Well, yeah, you're in a public domain business. These fans are the lifeblood of a football club. So you can't on one hand say, I get it. But on the other hand, I'm not going to explain it to you.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.